Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Pathfinder Kingmaker. Where we left off last time, we were exploring the Pataxian tournament. I've just been wandering around a little bit. I also respect Valerie because I really wanted to use her longsword. Also, it looks incredibly cool. I didn't realize how really awesome it looks. Look at that sword, it looks so great. Also her stats are now considerably better. She has plus 31, plus 26, plus 21 to hit. She's still at 52 armor class, which is pretty good. Her ring hasn't kicked in yet because we haven't rested yet with it on. She also still doesn't have any bracers, but that's just sort of the reality of the situation. We haven't found any yet. There are a bunch of named people we want to talk to, but I've been just kind of exploring around. Oh, I went too far. There we go. Been kind of exploring around and looting the place. There's a bunch of good items here. We also found the Quest Electri. The owner of this book reads one new chapter every time on rest, granting a benefit until the next rest, depending on which companion the chapter described. The chapter selects randomly. The chapter about Shelburne grants the ability to use Fireball 3 times with a caster level of 10, DC 18. This day, the chapter about Lord Josiah Dore grants a plus 5 competence bonus to persuasion and use magic device checks. The chapter about Skirple allows the owner to deal 1 additional damage on each neck attack damage die. The chapter about Wolfgang Hypton grants plus 10 to stealth. The chapter about Riften Rolston grants an ability to make the target rage as a barbarian for 6 rounds 3 times per day. And the chapter about Kenneth Kowanen grants the ability to use lightning bolt 3 times per day. It's sort of an okay item. It's not worth any money at all. Interesting. So we have this book. Alright, let's start talking to people. We should probably start doing that, I guess. My regards, King Eltimar. Jaspier Licenza at your service. Tell me about yourself. I'm the head of the Licenza family and master of what remains of the Iron Fox trade house. Before Iravetti took the crown, it would have been my family receiving you at our house. Alas, we're simply guests at his celebration now. Caused you to lose influence. It's a dark and sordid story, and I swear I'd give my life to learn the full of it. Patax was founded by 4 families and ruled by their 4 trade houses for centuries. We quarreled from time to time, of course, and property didn't always change hands peacefully, but none of us would dream of impinging on the other's family's lawful rights. And then Iravetti appeared. We underestimated him, thought him nothing more than another adventurer with thousands of others in the region. He handled matters quickly and chaotically, with assets running through his fingers faster than chips at a card table. His wealth grew rapidly, but still, he wasn't a big fish, for a while at least. He invited representatives from all the trade houses to play cards. No one really knows exactly what happened, but by morning, he owned most of their assets, including the crown. They suspected a rigged game and sent representatives from the families to discuss the matter with him. And then, a wave of disappearances rolled across the city. My brothers, the former kings of Patax, disappeared, along with many other honorable people. And Iravetti made it clear that the lives of his hostages would depend upon our obedience. He was king, and our wealth and power lay in ruins. The citizens of Patax seem to love Iravetti. It would seem so, wouldn't it? Yet appearances can be deceiving. Yes, he's made many rich and happy, but there are many more lives he's dragged through the mud for his own endless celebration. Trust me, there are many who would gladly put an end to his rule, but the king has so many spies that everyone's afraid to even discuss it. Ask the head of his precious academy, Atalia Gitarin, what she thinks, or maybe High Priest Dre Yarns. You'll see their mouths shut tighter than an oyster shell. Patax's high society is a notorious snake pit. Not that is much different from any other high society in the world. Who might you recommend I meet here? I'd do better to tell you whom you should avoid. There's a gloomy, sickly-looking gnome wandering about, Karn Veril, chief of the so-called Thieves Guild. He's Iravetti's primary business partner, and they understand the word business quite broadly. You said the so-called Thieves Guild. What is it he really does? Certainly not picking pockets. The fellow came from Numeria shortly after Iravetti started his reign. I won't lie, the Pataxian trade houses occasionally made some questionable deals, but before Iravetti, those like Viril were driven from the city faster than you could say the first dose is free. The man's a drug pusher. He sells the blood brush extract. They say it enhances all senses extraordinary and evokes vivid visions, but also affects minds and can be toxic at repeated doses. I saw those who overuse it. They cannot put 3 words together, because of Viril half the city's youth is on his trash. And Iravetti's pleased as punch about it. The more time the citizens spend in an altered state, the fewer questions they ask. The gnome also uses his own product. It affects both the body and the mind. He fears his own shadow, seeing deception and trickery everywhere. Those who deal with him hope for fabulous profits, but they more often than not end up at the bottom of a river. Bye. It was an honor speaking with you, Your Highness. I like how we can attack everyone here. We should probably save since I just finished respecting Valerie and I didn't save at all, and I don't really want to do it again. Let's talk to Nunzio Arpaia. Your Highness, welcome to the Rushlight Tournament. My name is Nunzio Arpaia, and I have the honor of being His Highness King Irovetti's Master of Ceremonies. You could say the organization of this tournament rests on my shoulders. If you need anything, I'm at your disposal. Tell me about the tournament. Since starting his reign over Pitax, His Highness King Irovetti has held this tournament once in several... has held this tournament once in several years, inviting guests from the high society of nearby kingdoms to attend. Today, we have guests from Daggermark, Mivon, Gralton, and Timon. Unfortunately, Brevoy did not honor us with the representatives this year. It's entirely possible that recent events and the stressful political climate have put them in a less than festive mood, but we're pleased to have your Highness in attendance for the first, and I hope not the last time this year. What events are on the schedule? The tournaments will consist of 3 contests. First, the participants will display their strength and dexterity in the Fisher's Triathlon, a tribute to the local crafts and trades, so to speak. Then we'll be measuring competitors' wits in the Boasting Contest. There's a reason we're the cultural capital of the region after all. And finally, the evening will wrap up with some mock combat in a drunken melee. Then His Majesty will announce the winner of the tournament and we'll enjoy a festive banquet followed by a splendid fireworks show. What about fleeting? I'm good at that. Well, I'm not ready for the Fisherman's Triathlon yet. We at least know where to start this thing now, though. I'm also stealing literally everything that's not nailed down. And even some things that are. Stefano Mosconi. He sounds familiar. Since your last encounter, Stefano Mosconi has put on a little weight, and his appearance has become even more festive. As you approach, a polite smile blooms on his face. Why, if it isn't King Eltimar? Please allow me to congratulate you on your success. So we meet again, and not on the battlefield, assuming this tournament isn't a trap, of course. Of course it's not. It might be hard to believe, but King Irovetti's intentions are quite honest this time. Trust me, he'll make a move sooner or later, but for now he's invited you for the chance to see a new rival with his own eyes. I'll let you in on a secret. He actually thinks quite highly of you. So, Irovetti considers me a rival? I didn't think I'd give him any cause for a feud. The unfortunate reality is that your very existence, along with the strength of your kingdom has acquired, is cause enough. What would happen if you were to join with Mivon against Pitax, or perhaps you might seek to extend your lands west and not stop at the border? What if merchants from Brevoy began traveling through your lands, bypassing Pitax entirely? And of course, the most important question? Mosconi's grin turns predatory. Do you sit securely on your throne, or does Pitax stand a chance of expanding east? Now that's real talk we have here. Come on, Honorable Stefano, sing us another of your sweet political songs. At least you're honest with me. I appreciate the warning. Think nothing of it. I have great interest in seeing how events will unfold. This isn't the first year the tournament's been held. Why was I just invited this year? I mean no offense when I say this, but both you and your state were, frankly, inconsequential, not significant enough for our attention. But your victory at Brevoy's border and your subsequent coronation changed all that. In truth, King Irovetti only invites those he's identified as worthy rivals to the tournament. Look how we can just, attack people. Until we meet again, and I'm sure we will. I like Stefano.
I will guide us.
The elf in leather armor scans the crowd intently. He seems to be the only one at the celebration not participating. He's also the only one besides the guards whose weapon isn't sealed. Your Highness, welcome to Pitax. Irsi Kilis, captain of the city guard, at your service. You don't seem to be enjoying the celebration. The celebration is for you. For the city guard, it's another work day, and right now our work is preventing disruption of the festivities. I thought Pitax was a city without laws. Where do the guards come from? Even pirates and smugglers have laws of a kind, and they need someone to keep their order. The city guard was created by the trading houses not long after the city was founded. We're paid by the citizens. Not all of them like us, but they understand things are better with us than without us. Irovetti seems to have a tight grip on his power over the city. Oh yes, the trading houses hate him, of course. Well, first and foremost, he has hostages. Second, each of the families is afraid to act alone, but they're all incapable of acting together. Jaspira Liasenza tried to unite them, but to no avail. And it's probably for the best, frankly. The last thing we need is combat in the streets. Irovetti can be blamed for many things, but at least he took power quickly and without carnage. Now Irovetti's enemies have nothing to do but sit around like High Priest Dre Yarns, praying for Calistri to send her giant holy wasps down to take him away. Who might you recommend I meet here? That depends on the purpose of your visit. If you're here on business, well, you already know King Irovetti, of course, but it would be worth your while to speak with Gasper Liasenza too. The trading houses have lost much of their former power, but they're still capable of many things. And if you'd like to partake of our renowned culture, there's Enemy de Bellavara, the most famous bard in the city, and Italia Guitarin as well, headmaster of the academy. Just take care, they can't stand each other. Alright. Being careful not to threaten people with death. There's a hodag in there. A ferocious hodag.
leads on.
We're gonna steal all the alcohol. Ooh, something there. Go get it. A cog. A sky metal cogwheel. This is why we explore. Also, I think we missed a couple loots. We'll go back for them. Who's Mysteriato? That's a cool name.
Without a doubt.
Oh, it's not talk. Can't even talk to him. Okay. There's also a manticore. Alright. I know there's a loot around here somewhere. Let's take that to start with. Let's rob their table of all the food that they're eating. Just king comes up from another country, just takes all the food from the table, and they're like, what just happened there? Could we get our food back? No.
Don't you think?
No, you cannot. Alright. Oh, it's a betting thing. Okay. I'm not gonna do that. We have lots of money and I don't feel like wasting it in a betting game between two mephits. Or imps or whatever they are. I'm just gonna continue stealing all the food. Why? I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Ooh, there's actually... You know what, let's grab it all so we know we got it all. We'll just sell the daggers eventually. There's loot down there we missed too. There's Dre Yarns, let's talk to him. Oh, a new face at the celebration. I'm pleased to meet you. Dre Yarns, High Priest of Kyrieru, at your disposal. Do many Pitaxians worship Kyrieru? Of course, she's been the patron goddess of Pitax since its founding. The goddess likes our joyful town, and its citizens love her in return. If you ever visit Pitax, you will surely enjoy the proud spikes of her cathedral. It's the most beautiful building in the city. Kyrieru is the goddess of revenge. I'm sure many mention Irivedi in their prayers to her, and probably not with the kindest words. You are well versed in both matters spiritual and political. Of course, it is not my place to say what people pray to my lady for, but you're right that many would wish for revenge upon him. To be honest, our temple has only benefited from his rise to power. Irivedi isn't stingy with his donations, and the celebrations he holds are beyond all praise. The king himself, though, his exorbitant pride is irritating. Sorry, one second, I gotta clear my throat. It's irritating. Kyrieru dislikes those who would place themselves above the gods, and I wouldn't be surprised if she teaches him a lesson sooner or later. That I could deal with, though. There's something else that I find harder and harder to tolerate. You see, the goddess patronizes bodily love, but only that given voluntarily. It is sometimes difficult for me to protect our young priests and priestesses from his unsolicited attentions. I fear to imagine how hard it must be for our beautiful Enamide, or what Italia Gateran must deal with. The king is said to often mistake the academy for his personal harem. Who might you recommend I meet here? There are many prominent people here, as usual. My first recommendation would be Maestro Enamide. Many would give their lives to exchange words with her. She's Pitax's best singer and the finest of its women. I've heard you're not exactly happy with Irivedi's reign. The priest looks away. Oh, no, I've no issue with his reign. He's a generous donor, and the celebrations he hosts are beyond praise. The king himself, though, this is the same thing that he just said. Alright. Goodbye, Mr. Priest. There's Enamide. Let's go talk to her. She's not even that far away. Oh, Eltimar, the famed baron. No, excuse me, king of Ikuria now. It has come to visit us. It's such a delight to see you here. Hello, Lady Provocateur. Aren't you afraid you'll burn out at work one day? Maestro Bellavara. Well, do you remember me? Lindsay blurts out, turning a bright red. Ah, Lindsay, of course I remember you. You and your nonsense at the poetics exam. I hear you have your own publishing house now. I didn't take you for the entrepreneurial sort, but I'm happy you found your calling. Tell me, are the songs you composed for Irivedi as bold as the one you sang at my capital? Have my humble verses so offended you that you still recall their sting? Please, your highness, it doesn't behoove a person of your standing to take umbrage against a petty bard. Don't you know the old proverb? The tunes are chosen by the one who pays the piper. Tell me about yourself. You could have easily asked any of my admirers who Enamide Bellavara is. That would be about 3/4 of Pitax, and the rest are all my haters. You don't get to be the best among a city of poets and musicians without gathering a few enemies along the way. But why should I concern myself with some hacks and soreheads? What can you tell me about King Irivedi? Enamide's face darkens for a moment, but she quickly regains her sweet smile. Love him or hate him, you can't deny he's a great man. Pitax was a boring place before him. Only pirates, fences, and other scum did business in the area, but then King Irivedi came and turned it into the cultural capital of the region. With him in charge, the arts have flourished, and the city's been filled with songs, paintings, and statues. I just pray Kyrieru breathes the same love of arts into the withered hearts of some of the other rulers in the region, prefer to squander their resources on saber rattling. Some say that King Irivedi doesn't have a taste for the arts. Any successful person gets haters spreading dirty rumors about them. You should hear the things they say about me. Pay it no mind. Our king is a man of exquisite taste, with appreciation for all kinds of art. Does the king have any enemies? Of course he has enemies, lots of them. Just like anyone who's actually accomplished anything in their life. Take some of the old trade houses, for example. Liasenza and some others, whom we stripped of their power, would love to see him at the bottom of a river. But even now, in their mutual sorry states, they can't manage to work together. There's also Ursi Kalis, captain of the guard. He was just seething with indignation when the king brought new rules to the city, but who wants to listen to the whining of failures like him? Irivedi brought a golden age on Patax. I've heard King Irivedi can be a little too persistent in his flirtations. Ganymede purses her lips for a moment, then replies slowly, choosing her words carefully. I prefer not to discuss the private life of His Highness with strangers, much less my own. The details of any interactions between us will remain just that, between us. Let's please discuss another topic. Tell me about the tournament. Our beloved kingdom has run this tournament once in several years since he took the throne. Guests from all over the River Kingdoms come for it, from Daggermark to Mivon. It's a pity Brevoy didn't honor us with any representatives this year. I guess the Aldori aren't in a festive mood right now. On the bright side, we get to host you for the first time, and Callistra willing, it won't be the last. Who might you recommend I meet here? That depends what you're looking for. If you're in the mood for pleasant company, well, you've already met me. And if you're in the mood for some schadenfreude, you could listen to the whining of Gaspar Liasenza. His family lost the Pataxian crown in a card game, or maybe Italia Guitarin, headmaster of the academy, who seems to think her skill at bureaucracy makes her a good bard. And if thrills are what you're after, especially the shivers down your spine kind, try speaking with Karn Varil, head of the Thieves Guild. Enjoy the celebration, she says. What else are going to steal whatever she has in her box near her? There we go. Shining shells. More guests. There's Italia Guitarin. We should probably go talk to her. Greetings, Your Highness. I'm Italia Guitarin, headmaster of the Academy of Grand Arts. Welcome to the tournament. Is it your first time here? I'll be honest, I'm delighted to hear what you've done with Kyria. Not so long ago, it was little more than a hole in the ground, but you brought it real civilization. Bravo. Lindsay has some interesting news for you. Yes, Professor Abel found refuge in our capital, and you know what? He's writing his memoirs of his time at the Academy. I'm sure it'll be an entertaining read for everyone in Patax. No, all of Avestan. A book, you say? How brave of him. I hope he doesn't neglect to include the details of his dismissal. Natalia's voice is ice cold and bone dry. What details? What do you mean? Irivedi kicked Professor Abel out for being too smart, didn't he? I'm sure that's exactly how he described it. They called him the insightful for a reason, after all. Anyway, forgive me, but I've no interest in discussing this topic further. If you'd like to exchange idle gossip, I'm sure you can find much more willing and interesting company here. I suspect you know to whom I'm referring. Sorry. How fares the Academy? Oh, just splendid. If you ever find time to visit Patax, I'd gladly give you a tour. We're currently holding an exhibition, of our graduates' works. Though it's a pity that... No, it's fine. Believe me, we have plenty worth coming to see and hear. I get the impression that something's upsetting you. Oh no, please don't worry. Just a little disappointed that one of our best students, Trebiscent of Cordelon, couldn't be here today. He could be singing at any capital, but the king chose to send him to some backwater village called Littleton. Of course, His Highness would never squander talent, so I'm sure we'll hear from Trebiscent again. But still, I do worry. I hear you're not exactly thrilled by Irivedi's power. Forgive me, Your Highness, but this is defamation. My students and I owe everything we have to King Irivedi. If not for him, the Grand Academy, or the Academy of Grand Arts, wouldn't even exist. It would be base ingratitude on my part to engage in any conspiracy against our patron. You must have me confused with enemy Bellavara. She's certainly always ready to bite the hand that feeds, or caresses. Who might you recommend I meet here? Just the normal people, of course. What did you mean when you mentioned the circumstances surrounding Abel the Insightful's dismissal? Forgive me, Your Highness, but I prefer not to discuss the subject. If you're truly so interested, I'm sure there are a few more, or more than a few slanderers who would gladly share all the dirty details with you. Alrighty then, let's go talk to Bellavara again. We've talked to Italia now. I believe Lindsay had a question for you. Oh, I just hope it isn't about any of the lectures I used to give at the Academy. Go ahead, ask away. Ganymede smiles encouragingly at Lindsay. Lindsay turns bright red, takes a deep breath, and then blurts out, Sorry, but I really need to know the truth. Why did Irivedi kick Professor Aribald out of the Academy? Oh, yes. He did move to your kingdom, didn't he? I'm curious how he portrayed his dismissal. I bet it was something like a poem and 6 verses recounting the tale of a tyrant ousting a poor but honest scientist for telling the truth. The reality is much more mundane. Irivedi didn't fire Aribald. Italia did, and I have to give it to her. This time, unlike most times, she was completely right. That can't be. Why did Italia expel Aribald? Well, Aribald is a very fine teacher, of course, but he pays too much attention to his favorite students. and how they perform in the class, and not enough to their extracurricular activities. Why worry if they steal a trinket here or there, or maybe rough someone up on occasion so long as their poetry and music are exemplary? Predictably, this led to a sad end. What was supposed to be just another innocent joke from one of his favorites, Alandi, led to someone's death. It was an accident, certainly, and the kids underestimated their own strength. One sec. My apologies for the brief cut. My dog decided that it was scratching time, and started scratching his little bed area. Anyways. Italia expelled a lot of them, and as always, Eobald went to stand up for them, but this time he discovered that her patience was not boundless. She blamed him, and said that he'd let his troublemakers run wild, so he could get out of the academy along with them. She told him she wouldn't tolerate any more bullying, even if it's coming from genius students. I understand it's odd to hear won't tolerate from Italia Gatarin, but that's really what happened. Pale, Lindsay looks at Ganymede with huge eyes, unable to utter a word. If Irvedi didn't banish Eobald, then why did he send those cutthroats after him? He planned to return the old man to Patax to make Italia reinstate him into the academy, or failing that, at least he wanted to keep him from going to you. Eobald the Insightful is a prominent name. Of course Irvedi would want that teacher serving him rather than his neighbors. Why would Italia hide the circumstances around Eobald's dismissal? She doesn't like to discuss Academy's internal affairs. Behind that neat facade, there are too many events she's looked the other way on over the years, all in good faith, of course. Thanks for telling us the truth. I'm not sure you should be thanking me. I see poor Lindsay's not too happy with this truth. Hey, come on, girl, cheer up. Being disappointed by people is practically a professional necessity for people like us. Whatever I might have said before, you're not a bad bard, and that means sometimes you have to face the music. Thank you. Alright. I can't believe that the teacher lied to me all this time. I'm going to learn the truth as soon as we get back to the capital. Which we should, yeah, definitely go do. Italia. Ganymede told us why you expelled Eobald from the academy. I have no interest in what that individual told you. Please, let's discuss something else. Fine, okay. Doesn't want to talk, I gotcha. Let's continue on our journey through the camp. Oh, there's a chest. With some random items. Alright, so we're back up to here. Let's go into this little zone, the next level of the thing. We still have a couple people down here to talk to, like Walsh. No, we did that one already. Like Karn Variel. And that's it, actually. We've already talked to all the traders. Not a lot of people up here, just a lot of wardens. There's the melee tournament area here. I don't think we can go in there though. It's not letting me know. Alright. What else is around here? Pataxian Wardens. Just a lot of Pataxian Wardens. It's the edge of the map. It does appear to be the edge of the map. Alright, let's go quickly finish up looking around, and then we'll head down, talk to Variel, and then we'll do the actual tournament stuff.
I did it. I did.
A greater extend metamagic rod. And this is the other end of the tournament grounds. Some books on the table there. And a letter from Trepisan to the king. I'll read that in a bit. Alrighty, so we can't go in that area. That's just cliff. I guess we're going down here to talk to Variel. And then what? I don't even know. What's the date today? It's the 24th today. Oh, it seems like this month is going by so slowly. I'm glad we found some cool trading things to buy though. Pretty thrilled about that, honestly. Any other loot that we missed? We did miss a loot way over here. I didn't even see it. Let me send. Knock knock, just in case it's a chest.
Will not falter.
He's cruising. Look at that guy go. That's his barbarian levels. What did we miss? Oh, there's a little... Oh, another sky metal cog wheel. Okay, fair enough. Now, where was Variel? Do the Eldori people have anything to say? No. Oh, those are the two from the hunt, right. I forgot about them. Where's Variel? Should be right around here. There he is. Karn Variel. The gnome's yellow bloodshot eyes scan the faces in the room. Well, he's not in a room, but whatever. Nervously, noticing you, he grabs for his sealed sheath. What? Who are you? Oh, it's your Royal Highness. Forgive me, I didn't recognize you. An honor, truly a huge honor. I'm Karn Variel, a simple salesman. Who are you? I told you already. The gnome's voice rises in anger. I'm a simple salesman, not rich, not noble. Why would a king concern himself with me? He wouldn't. What is it you sell? What do you care? Fish and the like. Who might you recommend I meet here? No one, everyone. How should I know? I'm just a simple salesman. Leave me be. I've heard a few curious words. Blood brush extract, and that you're no ordinary salesman, and your words are far from mundane. Quiet, quiet, I say, gripping his sheet tightly. The gnome looks around anxiously before whispering, too many people here, too many eyes. Ears, you want to talk business? Find me on Patex. I'll remember you. Great honor, go have fun. Okay, he's insane. What is loot? I bet it's garbage. It's probably mundane weapons. That's okay, we'll just sell them. It's mundane armor, sorry, not weapons. Let's just get those out of the way. We'll worry about all the other junk later on, but just get rid of all the unmagical garbage first. Also, I'm sad we're below 2 million gold again, but we did have to buy some really inexpensive stuff. It was very important. Let's go deal with... Oh. Of course, it's too early to leave. We can't leave yet. We'll have to deal with the pirates later, I guess. Let's go talk to Nunzio and actually do the Rushlight tournament itself. I'm ready to participate in the Fisher's Triathlon. Let's begin. I'm really not good at fishing. Trumpets sounded over the arena, announcing the commencement of the Fisher's Triathlon. We were to distinguish ourselves in 3 sports. You could call them such. If you could call them such. You be the judge, dear reader. The first round was fish carrying, if you can believe it. They built narrow bridges over pits of mud and placed barrels on either end, one side filled with fish and the other side empty. The goal was to get all the fish from one side to the other, bare hand, without falling into the mud. I'm sure this is just what you imagined for a royal tournament. Throwing fish at your opponents was prohibited, but there is one unofficial but well understood at the rule, or one understood rule at this tournament. Don't get caught. We had to decide which of us would participate, as well as how fair we wanted to play. Honestly. And we'll use Amiri, who has amazing athletics, who failed apparently. Amiri quickly realized it would be hard to earn an honest win with everyone cheating. She hadn't even managed to move half the fish before someone slyly tossed the fish beneath her feet. She slipped and fell into the mud. We lost the round, but the competition wasn't over. The second round was untying knots. Competitors would be tied up on poles resembling ship masts, and they had to escape the ropes. We once again had the choice to make. We noticed a sharpened coin glistening in the dagger-marked competitor's mouth, and the Carlton's participant had a blade in his hands. We exposed the cheaters, leaving us with fewer rivals. The judges escorted the cheaters out of the arena, and the crowd laughed and whistled all the while. With a third of the competition gone, Knock Knock easily outpaced the others, untangling the ropes and making his way to the judges, while the others still wriggled in their bonds like flies in a spiderweb. So we won one round at least. The third would be crucial. The last round of the tournament was diving for river pearls. Huge tabs were filled with mussels in river water, and some empty jars had been placed on sets of scales. We'd have to open the mussels with our bare hands, gather the pearls, deposit them in our team's jar. Of course, if playing fair wasn't a priority, we could try weighing down the jar with other things as well. Honestly, we'll do honestly again. Amiri bravely dove into the muddy water and started opening shells, breaking her nails in the process. Her jar was soon full of river pearls, and it weighed more than any of the rivals' jars. We'd won the third round. Soon, we stood on the pedestal as the judges awarded our team the victory. We were wet, muddy, and smelled of fish, but we grinned with joy all the same. 23,000 experience for that. That's a lot of experience, holy crap. Alright, that's almost, not really, level. We're still like 70,000, 60,000 experience away from a level, but still 23,000 is a pretty good amount. Your Royal Highness, welcome to the Rushlight Tournament. Oh, wait. Boasting contest, here we go. Everyone's ready, let's begin. The tournament continued with a boasting contest. The first participant, a man from Daggermark, stepped up to the podium and told a raunchy story about him sneaking into the Temple of Calistria and seducing all the priestesses, including the High Priestess, in a single night. The crowd was particularly amused by the suggestive glances he kept casting towards one of the guests from Timon. She simply smiled mysteriously in response. The second participant was a guest from Geralton, who told a completely implausible tale about his travels across the other planes where he battled undead hordes and defeated a blood-curdling monster. He was an average storyteller at best. He'd be lucky to get a C for the story at the Academy, but the listeners were inexplicably elated. Suspicious, we took a closer look at the crowd, and of course we spotted a bard using some tricks of the trade, and likely a little magic to aid the Geralton man's performance. We quietly warned the bard that we would shut him up if he kept interfering. Oh. Oh no, we got disqualified. We should have saved first. Well, I wonder if we can quickly load that. Wait, how long ago was this? You know what? I'll save here. We can still win the whole tournament, but I have to wait till it finishes saving. Come on, hurry up.
Don't you think?
The quick save is anything but these days. Alright, let's go back to here. I kind of want to just... Oops, didn't mean to bump the microphone, but I kind of want to see what the stabbing him in the back mode does. Nocturn's great at stabbing people in the back. Oh, it's way back here. Alright, screw it, never mind. Not important. It's a tournament, who cares? We can still win it. We do need to win it, though. Like, overall. So we'll save before the last bout. Well, we already saved before the last bout. It is a melee, which is going to go... Well, we can send a Mirian, probably. Or, do we have a monk? Alright, well, we need to go find... Oh, it doesn't even take us back to Nunzio. That's annoying. But we didn't get experience from it either. Maybe I should go back. Alright, I'm going to jump forward back... Or I'm going to jump back and get back to where we were, because I think we just lost so much experience that it's probably worth going back and redoing. Back in a second. Alrighty, so we redid the first one. We actually got all the successes, and we got a ton of experience for it. We actually got a level, so 46 for the first one, 30,000 for the second one, and 23,000 for the third one, and then 960 for, I guess, finishing it. But we did gain a level, so what we're going to do is level up really quickly. I don't think this is a very important level, in all honesty. It's going to take a pretty short amount of time. And then what we're going to do is, in the next video, we'll finish up the tournament. So, let's start with, I guess, Valerie. And she gets a level of fighter, with literally nothing exciting happening. I don't think she even gets a feat this level. She does get an ability point, but that's really it. I mean, it does give her 30 strength, so that's kind of cool. Amiri. I have all my things loaded up this time, so it's gonna be a little bit faster. She's just doing her fighter stuff, two-handed weapon specialist, and 3 skills. So persuasion, athletics, mobility. Next, she does get a feat, however, and she's gonna take weapon specialization, bastard sword. She's using a bastard sword, I believe. Yes. Yes, she is. Alright, and then I guess Lindsay's next. And she's going to get a level of Eldritch Knight, I should say. She's going to try and max this out. Her stat point for this level, though, it's kind of... I don't really know what I put it into this time. Her charisma's pretty good. Her dexterity's... could probably use a little bit of extra work. We'll start leveling up her dexterity a little bit more, just so she can shoot better. Spells for this level aren't super important, in all honesty. Probably just gonna grab... Where do you have heroism? Is there... Where is it? Must be the next level. Darn. Okay, never mind. We'll just grab invisibility, and then we'll also grab... We already have Dispel Magic, so that's nice. Joyful Rapture. Shadow Evocation. None of these are particular. You know what? It doesn't really matter what we take. We're not going to use any of those spells anyways. We have the 2 spells we want. Knock Knock is going to get Barbarian level, I believe. Level 16. No, he's back to Rogue now. He's going back to Rogue, so he can get better sneak attack. He's got 30 dexterity now, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Everything's maxed out. I guess we're starting on stealth. Okay. And he gets a feat this level, and his feat is going to be combat reflexes. But I think he already has that, doesn't he? Or we can get improved critical with him. Since he doesn't have keen weapons anymore, Kukri improved critical is probably better. Our main character doesn't need a build because he's just clericking. Wisdom level 29. Oh, that wasn't quite right. It doesn't matter. Good enough. And that's it for him. And finally, our kineticist. I'm glad we get a level out of that. Like, it's worth so much experience to win that thing, which is kind of annoying because it's kind of really hard. The checks are quite high, in all honesty. We're getting a new... Ooh, Dex. Yeah, Dex. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good enough. And we're getting water, and we're taking water blast. That's it. So we're going to end the video here. We now have 207 hit points on Valerie, 224 on Amiri, 180 on Knock Knock, 147 on our main character, 115 and 195 on our other two characters. Our plus to hit sucks with our main character, only 17 to hit, which is fairly low. Our Smilodon is level 13, so it's actually not leveling up all that much anymore. Plus 28 to hit though. Knock Knock is at plus 28, plus 28, plus 23, plus 23, plus 18, plus 18. He has 6 attacks around. She's at plus 33, plus 28, plus 23, which is quite good. She's at plus 32, 32, 27, 22 at this point of the game. And other than that, oh, Lindsay, right? Lindsay's at 16, 16, 16. She's actually pretty decent at hitting things with her Eldritch Knight skills, but she still needs a little bit of work. And she's at plus 20, 15, and 10. So that's going to be it for now. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Others, I'll see you next time. Take care.